I'm actually letting my super quench cool down. I've been working on some of the grinding and heat treat and super quenching some of these railroad spike knives for upcoming festivals. And I thought, you know, what I should do, I should take a break, let the super quench cool down, and get back on that Wakizashi challenge briefly. Now, for those of you who've been following this, you've seen me forge this from a bar of 1045, and then it was ground mostly off camera, refractory backed and quenched. And this was oil quenched. So this is differentially hardened. And now what it needs is it needs some cleanup, and I'm going to see about getting it in for an etch. At least a test etch. I am about wore out. Let me grab an 80 grit, and I'm going to start cleaning up from there. Now, if you haven't liked and subscribed, now's a great time to do it. And be sure to hit that notification button. So I'm going to run this up to, well, as far as I run it up, and then it's likely that I'm going to end up doing a test etch on this. So let's see how this goes. I'm making a Wakizashi. How's it going? QB pound for interesting. Hey, thank you for subscribing. Okay, guys, so here's what I'm going to do. I've already run up to, I just kind of did a rough grind cleanup with my 80 grit right here. That's still a good belt. I'm going to go ahead and switch to 120 just to see how or if that hamon pops. And I believe that it will. Let's see, those are 220s. Let's do a stiff back ceramic 120. And then after this, I may actually run it on Scotch-Brite because this serrated contact wheel does a pretty good job at cleaning up my surface, keeping it nice and even. Once more, if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, now's a great time to do so and hit that notification button. Hello, how's it going? Amin? Or how do you pronounce your name? But hello. Can't tell if I can see the color difference yet. That's not fun. Getting injured is no fun. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate people enjoying my work. All right, next, I'm going to try running this up through Scotch-Brite. And seeing if that hamon starts to pop. I know there's hamon there. starting to see a line here. That could be good. This is cleaning up okay, and we're up to a 120 approximate. I know what it's looking like so far, but it's probably not picking up on camera. I'm gonna have to take this up a little higher grit. You broke your all-in radius? Dude, don't do that. That is like that's not good. Makes it very difficult to do everything with broken parts. All right. It occurs to me I need to buy new surface conditioners. see some forged texture still there. It can be cleaned up a bit more. I can clean it up a lot more, but I don't see it happening. Now, let's see. So there it is. It could be polished better, but I'm not interested in having it polished better. I'm interested in, does it show Hamon? Now, what I probably don't have is enough acid. I guarantee I don't have enough acid to fully test etch this. If I do, it's very, very close. All right, guys, hold on just a second. I need to find some window cleaner. And I need to find some meat cleaner, it looks like. All right. Let me look. There's some. Do I have some in a spray bottle? I did at one point. This, however, is not that point. De-icer. No, that's not what I want. All right. So some people, they'd wipe this down with acetone and then window cleaner, like Windex, something like that. Probably not going to do that. But I am just going to clean it with some window cleaner. That is still quite warm. All right. Chances of this being deep enough for this, not very likely, but almost. Almost. I'm gonna grab water. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to find a way to hold this upright, because this is not the upright way to do it. This is supposed to work. There we go. I'll try that. So we'll give this just a little bit of time, and then I'm going to check it for an etch. Now, hiccup. If you haven't, I can't talk. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a great time to do so. And like I said, we're going to give it just a little bit of time and see where we're at. Trying to find something that's going to be light enough to kind of scrub this with. If you haven't subscribed yet, like and subscribe, hit that notification button, and see me make other stuff. Checking this out here. You guys can't see a whole lot. Bring me some paper towels. Cheyenne's helping me out here. Well, she's trying to.
I'm struggling to open it.
We just came back from down south. Bless her heart.
I found out Bless Your Heart has so many meanings. Depends on the context of the conversation.
So yeah, I definitely have a temper line going on here. There's a lot of a lot of scratches and stuff on this still, but it is showing through. All right, I'm back in. There was a time this would have been like really, really cool, and I'd been like, oh wow, just imagine if we could just go in the shop and make a Wakizashi, and then I'm like, oh, just because we're gonna make one on YouTube, because that's what we do. Once more, I would like to have a higher polish on this before attempting this matter. Although, I'm wondering How light of an abrasive is baking soda?
Too light.
How light of an abrasive is baking soda? Where would we have some? I think it's right back.
I got it.
Can you grab me one of those blue cups? All right, guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring that out and I'm going to clean it. And I'm going to neutralize it with a baking soda paste. And then I'm going to go rinse it off. Hurry up and wait is what we're doing. All right. So for everyone who's like, do you make swords? Yes, we do make swords in here. So I'm going to, or Cheyenne may be mixing up a baking soda paste, and I'll use that traditional baking soda cup. And if I make her mad, she'll make me drink this. Okay. While eating vinegar and pickles or something.
Oh no, I'd make you eat the pickled mushrooms.
Yeah, I'd just throw up before it ever got to that point.
Hey, those are good to me.
Yeah, I've made all kinds of bad life choices. Pickled mushrooms was one of them. Okay. I do have a Hamon here. It is not as prominent as I had hoped. And I would have thought that it would have been wider. No, let's go in for another etch. I have a mosquito that keeps flying around me that I'm going to kill, possibly with Wakizashi, because I don't like mosquitoes. Did you know mosquito is Spanish for, damn it, I don't like that bug on me? Or a little fly or something like that, I don't remember. All right. So the idea here is to do many passes of etching and cleaning and see what I get. Now, I don't expect a whole lot out of this, but I do, within reason, expect some results here. And it actually looks like there may be a transitional zone, but I'm not seeing it a lot on camera here. All right. We'll see how this goes. I know I'm getting low on battery. Cheyenne, how are you on battery? Is it charging?
Nope. They ain't gonna get the charger.
Probably not charging. Cheyenne's going to do an awesome video that will get more views than mine on shopping with her kukri and splitting some kindling, I believe. All right.
I might be a little mean to mine, just see where it goes.
I was reasonably mean to mine. It worked okay.
Did you baton with it?
Didn't have to. I split some of your maple in the back. Some that we trimmed off. I split some maple with it. I split some 4x4 posts. Split 4x4 posts or maple and then land it stuck in the stump below. So it actually worked reasonably well. I don't need a lot of etch here. I just need enough. With the temperature and all, it shouldn't take very long. So, I'm actually, let's see. Let's move over here because I really don't want to contaminate my etchant.
I'm gonna go find my charger.
And yes, I'm pouring some water back into it. And then I'm going to throw my water on the floor because that's what I did. All right. And I have some weird streaking going on here. Interesting. All right. So now I'm going to take some baking soda and baking soda water. Which one will neutralize any acid on there. And I'm just going to give it a scrub. And I'm hoping that helps remove some of the extra oxide that's on here. Starting to see some unusual streaking. It's only on one side, so that makes me think that it's from an etching or something like that. But let's see what I have here. We don't have any really fine sandpaper, do we?
I don't think we do.
I have an idea.
I have steel wool, but not fine.
Get over here. Sorry.
I'm going to lightly sand this.
I didn't know that.
So this is I'm going to do. I'm going to take and put some wet baking soda on this, and then use lightly sand. All right. So I don't believe that really helped show the Hamon by any means, but it did get rid of that streaking that either was caused by resist or something else. And now back into the etching. All right, so do we have a Hamon? We do have a Hamon. Do we have a prominent, clean finished blade? We do not have a prominently clean finished blade. We have it's there. So, a little bit of work. I could clean this up and probably a reasonable Hamon on it, but it's going to take a little bit of work. The question is, do I care enough to hand sand it? Probably not. Is it going to happen? It just might. Guys, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Cheyenne, what do you have coming up? You have any videos this evening coming up?
Gonna do kind of put that string to this test.
She's going to do some test cutting with her kukri. If you want to, there are 2 1-gallon water jugs in the back. If you want to fill those up.
Yeah, we can do that.
Cool. Where am I from? 24 millimeter film. I am from Central Illinois. All right. A higher polish would probably do wonders for this. So what I may do, I may actually take this back to the grinder and see if I can get a finer finish on it. Probably run it up to a 220 and then run some Scotch-Brite. Our Scotch-Brite belts are about shot, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this off because there's no point in continuing to etch it to a depth that will, there we go. It's a nice bubbly reaction right there. No point in etching that to a depth that I'm just going to have to grind away to clean. But there you have it. All right. Cheyenne's going to get ready to do some videos in a few. And then the question is, will you be doing the Wakizashi challenge?
Yes.
She says yes. All right, guys. More fun stuff to come. We'll catch you in a few. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out some of the other videos. Later.